Hi there, welcome back to JD Answers. Today we got the T-Smart 4-port HDMI 4K splitter with sound. Thank you for coming back. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. Let's go ahead and start with the unboxing of the T-Smart splitter. Okay, now let's check what we get in the box. First of all, it's a pretty good sturdy box. It's a good size. Has a nice logo in the front there. Alright, first thing is the unit. Neatly wrapped. And you get the device itself. Here you go, that's the front of it. Here's the top. And the back here. Bottom, you could tell where we have the ventilation. Alright, so that's the switch. Let's see what else we got in here. Looks like this just pops to the side. Let's get the accessories. Go ahead and open that up. You get the remote. Just remember, it does not come with a battery, so you will need to purchase a battery separately from this. And let's see, I believe it's a 2025 if I'm right. And let's see, and you also get a power cord. Some of the budget HDMI splitters, they come with the micro USB, but this is actually a power cord that goes to it. That's pretty good. Then that's pretty much it. As you can see, there's about a good almost 2 inches of spacer there for the DAX cam. I'm sorry, for the splitter. And when you put everything back, it has a good space, so in case any, for no damages during the transport. So pretty good packaging. Well, the one thing I liked about this so far is the power cord. Most budget HDMI splitters come with the micro USB power cord, which is great, but when you're trying to toggle in between sources, it takes a little bit longer. Now, if you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, select all notifications for all upcoming videos. The items I have today will be listed in the description down below for purchase. If you have any questions at any time, please list in the comment section down below. So when we get the splitter, alright, now I got the one in black. It does come in a gray, and it also comes in a red. So depending on your color scheme in your room or your office or your living room, you get to choose between the colors you like. So that's one good option that I like from there. Let's go ahead and start with the HDMI here on the top. Great, it says HDMI. But remember, this is a 4K at 60 Hz, so this is a 2.0 above compliant. Just be careful with the older cables you have. You may have a 1.3, a 1.4, which probably can do 4K, but it's not going to do it at 60 Hz, or the resolution ain't going to be to the maximum. So you got to be careful with that. Make sure your cables are 2.0 compliant. Because if you have this device, you have your TV that's a 4K at 60 Hz, and your game consoles, or whatever you're streaming, you're not going to get the full quality off of it unless you match up that HDMI cables with the product. And this one's at 4K at 60 Hz. So if your TV is running at 4K at 60 Hz, that means it's constantly changing 60 times a second. So it's 60 frames a second that it keeps changing and changing and changing for the maximum quality resolution. But before we move on, let's go ahead and check on this 60 Hz here. All right, let's check other devices that require the 30 Hz or 60 Hz. Let's see which one they are. I have a chart here that can help you. Okay, we got Netflix that has a 24 to 60 frames per second. Amazon is about the same. Some Blu-ray movies are 24. YouTube runs at 30 at 60 frames per second. Cable boxes are about between 25 and 30 to 60. Now, if you look at your right side where we get the refresh rate over here, you have your Xbox One, Xbox Series that runs from 24 to 120 Hertz. You got your PS4 that goes to up to 60 hertz, PS5 that goes to 120 hertz. Blu-ray players anywhere from 24 to 60 hertz. PCs up to 240 hertz. Chromecast 60 hertz, which is probably the same for Roku. Apple TV up to 60 hertz. So this device is going to be compatible with all that you have there. So you're not losing any quality with this device. It can't keep up with it. Then it has a 4x4x4. To explain this in simple terms, let's just look at a chart. If you see the subsampling, and we'll see what kind of impact it does for it. For PC, it runs at a 4x4x4. It's a major impact. Because most of the time for PC, if you're going that much, you're probably either watching movies or you're playing video games. Which the next one is movies. And you can see it's 4x2x0. Not really much of an impact. You got video games, 4x4x4. Minor impact, but when you're a gamer, this is a major impact. So you want the highest quality. Sports, 4x2x0, none. TV shows, 4x2x0, none. None really much impact. But when you have your device, you want it to go to the maximum power. This device can do that. You're not losing any quality with devices that you have plugged into this. All right, let's go ahead and move to the front. Here you have the IR, which is pretty much the infrared, which is used for your remote. Then you have your 4 HDMI input lights. The lights tell you which source is on. And they're all labeled too, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next you have the switch that helps you toggle in between your inputs. Or you could simply use a remote. Then you have your audio side, which you got the 5.1, 2.0, auto, and again, the switch that helps you toggle in between. And we'll get to this later. Okay, now let's get into the audio side here. Let me show you this chart that what I have. It supports audio through output, optical, or left and right aux interfaces. Supports for HDR10 and Dolby Vision. Supports Dolby TRUEHD, DTS HD Master, Dolby Digital, and AC3 audio transmissions. And then you have the power switch. Turn it off and on. Now on the side you can see there's vent holes on each side, and there's also in the bottom for better ventilation. Now when we go to the back, you have your port for your power cord. You have your HDMI selectors. You got 4. Each HDMI selector is gold plated, and this provides resistance against corrosion. Then you have your output. Again, it's also gold plated. Then you have your S/PDIF port, and then you have your audio LR port. Now for the input, you could put your PC, PS4, or really PS5, your Xbox consoles, Nintendo Switch, Amazon Fire Sticks, Roku, Chromecast, Blu-ray player, and cable box. I'm going to go with some features or key points with the T-Smart switch. We have the 4K at 60 Hz, which we've gone over that. But to keep your 4K at 60 Hz, your cable must be under 16 feet. Now for 4K at 30 Hz, your cable can go up to 32 feet with a minimum of 10 feet. And to keep your 1080 at 60 Hz, you cannot be no more than 65 feet, which goes to 32 to 65. So if you want your 4K at 60 Hz, keep it under 16 feet. Then it has automatic switch, which when you turn your power source on for the device you have plugged in, this would automatically go to that device. Now again, you could also use your switch or you could use your remote. But this has automatic switch where if you have no devices on and you turn one on, and it'll go to that one. Then you have your remote control, which the M lets you switch to the next input port. P lets you switch audio mode. 1, of course, is for input 1, 2 is for input 2, 3 is for input 3, 4 is for input 4. Now the other buttons have no reference on this, so those you could just skip. It's just extra buttons for other devices that the remote control is also used for. Next you have ED ID Manage, which is a great feature because when you have a budget HDMI splitter and you're toggling to the source you want and it doesn't get there, it's because it doesn't have the ED-ID manage. This pretty much lets the input talk to your output. Let's go to the example. It's pretty much you see a TV talking to the streaming device. This is, hey streaming device, I'm an LG and I support 4K, 1080p, 720p, etc. And the other one, the Apple streaming device says, hey, my power is pretty much 1080p. Great. We work together and the connection is made. Now without this ED-ID manage, as you can see on this next frame, when you go after switching, it's not there. It's because the ED-ID manage didn't tell the source to the output what was together. With the ED-ID manage feature, this makes your connection faster and a more accurate connection. Next you have Dolby TRUEHD sound, which pretty much when they're making their movies or their concerts and they're at the studio, the sound that they're making there, you will get at your device with the Dolby TRUEHD. Next, you have the HDCP 2.2. This is pretty much standard now for a lot of the latest technology, from TVs to Blu-ray players to consoles. It all needs this HDCP because it's creating a secure connection between your input and output. And it pretty much does a lot with copywriting. So all the technology coming out now has this HDCP 2.2 and this device supports it. Then you have the HDR10, which is pretty much if you're not upgraded to the 4K 60 Hertz or 4K TV and you have a high definition TV, you're not going to lose any quality. It is going to support that. And then of course the audio port from left and right. Let's go through some specifications we haven't talked about. It is HDCP compliant, which is really a 2.2 HDMI. The data rate is 18 gigabytes per second, which in the HDMI field, this is a premium. The maximum resolution is 3840 by 2160. And the audio supports, again, surround sound up to 7.1 channel or stereo digital audio. For your input, you got HDMI type A. For your output, you got HDMI type A, auxiliary for LR audio, and you also got your SPDIF audio out. It is made with aluminum alloy metal. For operating or storage temperature, it goes to 0 to 70 degrees or negative 40 to 85 degrees. One of the good things I like about this also is that all the cables are in the back. There's nothing in the front. It's all in the back. It makes hiding your cables easier and it's better cable management. So all your sources, your inputs and outputs are all coming out one way. And you can hide them behind your console, you hide them behind your computer, your desk, whatever you have. And then all you're going to see is just the front and that's it. All right, let's put this to a test now. Let's get some demonstrations out there. We're going to be using gaming consoles. We're going to be using computers, laptops. We're going to be using Roku sticks, Blu-ray players. For the output, we'll be using a monitor and a 4K TV. And for all you gamers, we're going to attach this to an Elgato capture card using Streamlabs and OBS software. You have any questions? Leave them in the comment section. Now let's get to those demonstrations. Okay, now it's time for the demonstration. For input 1, I have an Xbox. I'm going to call that Xbox One. Input 2 is the Switch. Input 3 is the Blu-ray player. Input 4 is another Xbox, which I'm calling Xbox number 2. So now let's go ahead and just toggle to each one. I'm going to number 1 now because this was on number 4. And then I'm going to, oh, there it goes, turn it on. Then we're going to number 2. And now I'm going to put the volume on. Right now I had it off for copyright laws for the Madden 2021. Now we're going to number 3. There it goes. Now we're going to number 4. There it is. Now from this point, we're going to toggle to each one again. And what we're going to do is we're going to see how long it takes to toggle in between. So from number 4 to number 1, here it goes. All right, I didn't do a count because I forgot to take muted. So I'm going back to number 4. All right, here we go. Number 1. 1. Well, it's already turning on. You can see in the top right. So it's already there. So let's go to number 2. The switch. 1, 2, 2. It is. Now we're going to number 3, which is the Blu-ray player. 1, 2, 3. And it's 3 for the Blu-ray player. And number 4, back 1, 2, and it's 2. So it's pretty much 1.5 to 2 seconds average to go in between each device. Now I'm going to use the manual switch to see, just to toggle. As I'm going through this, just pay attention to the blue lights that are flickering back and forth to each input. Right now it's on number 4. Let's go to number 1. There it is. It's turning on. Number 2. There it is. And number 3. Which is the Blu-ray player. And we're going to number 4. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the DVD, which I'm going to go ahead and press number 3 on the remote. All right, I'm going to unmute it. I'm going to put it a little bit louder just so you can hear. Right now, with the Right now on the audio side, it is at 2.0. I'm going to switch it to 5.1. And just notice the difference in sound. As you could tell in the sound, what difference it was. I'm going back to the 2 channel and get it lowered from there. So right there you could tell already where with a 2 channel, the way it sounded, and we went to the 5.1, how that was a dramatic increase in the sound. Now my TV is connected to a surround sound system. So that's why you had that major jump to that 5.1, the sound. Okay, for this next demonstration, we're going to have a Roku stick and a laptop. Even though this TV is a Roku TV, but we're still going to use to see if the device works in there. So right now, we're going to go to number 1, which is still Xbox, which is there. Now we're going to number 2, which is the switch. Then we're going to number 3, which is the laptop. And then we're going to jump to number 4, which is the Roku. There you go. So now what we're going to do now, just like we did in the last one, let's just see how long it takes to toggle in between the laptop and the Roku stick. So we're on number 2. So let's go to number 3. 1, 2. Okay, let's go to number 4. 1, 2. So pretty much they're averaging 2. The one that literally took the longest, I think was 3, almost a 4, was the Blu-ray player. So now you can see it still works with a laptop or it still works like the Chrome stick, Amazon stick. You saw this, the Roku one, it works the same way. And again, no problems with any quality of the picture on that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a conference style of laptops. Now we have the demonstration using 4 laptops. I hope my wife and kids aren't looking for the laptops because I'm using them right over here. So we're going to go ahead and jump to number 2. And it should be the front left here. There you go. Now we're going to number 3, which will be the back right, which is going to have the JD Answers logo on top. Now we're going to number 4, which is going to be the front right one. And that's going to have the home page from YouTube. So you can see it toggle to each one with no problem. So if you have a conference, you simply just, if you want to take the main screen, you get the remote or you do it manually and you go ahead and toggle to the one you want. So say number 3 wants to take the main screen, he presses number 3 on there and then it will pop up right at the screen. But what if number 3 is using it and they decide to go home, like, okay, I'm done. What happens then, because that was on the screen, boom, it jumps to the next one active from there. And that's how you figure each plant from there, each screen size. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect the next one. And nothing happens because it wasn't an active one. So right now we got these 2 disconnected. All right, so now what happens when that one's done? Who takes the main screen is the only one left, which is on the right. So it automatically switches to the next active unit there. So there was no problem toggling in between. Okay, now we're back and I have my laptop connected to the HD60 Elgato capture card, which is connected to the HDMI switch, which has also the audio connected to it here. And then from there it goes to the Nintendo Switch to the Xbox. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do some gameplay and we can see how it goes with it. Now we're just going to toggle back and forth. Right now you got the Nintendo Switch. And then you see me going in there. Now I'm going back to number 4, which is the Xbox, and we're going to see some of the gameplay there as well. All right, here we go. My hands are up. I'm going to try to see you at the same time. Right. Sorry, left, right, up, down. We're going to do some walking. And you can see there's no lag time in that. All right, now let's go back to number 1. Here we go. We're going to play the game here. Here we go. You can see my hands, how they're going left, right, left. And you can see there is no lag time with this. And again, I am using the computer speakers as the left and right function. Turn them off. Go back on. There you go. Okay, this is OBS software. So now we're going to toggle back and forth to number 1. And you can see how fast that toggled. Now we're going to number 4. Back to 1. All right, now let's do some gameplay in there. Just trying to turn him around, get him to the right area, which is probably still not going to. And you can see the gameplay, no lag time. Sorry, let me lower that volume. All right, now we're going to go to number 4, which is the Xbox. And you can see my right and left turn. Walking straight. And this is Cyberpunk here. All right, there you go. It has the OBS software with the Elgato capture card using the splitter. and it worked with Streamlabs as well. Alright, so what did you think about those demonstrations? You still have questions? Leave them in the comment section down below. If this video was helpful, give me that thumbs up because I appreciate that from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and select all notifications for all upcoming videos. Just a reminder, all the products are linked in the description down below for purchase. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe!